look at the starting lineup, Mark Evans is no longer in it. Could not get the Pico up on plane before 1 minute ago.
Just above the graphic, you saw the yellow boat, Nate Brown, in the Lumar sneak out of the infield and plant himself in lane 1. Now, will that be enough of an advantage to give him a shot at the Budweiser? We'll have to see. Steve David and the Chrysler Jeep is outside the red boat.
Budweiser edging just ahead of Steve David as we count down 8 seconds to the start. The very aggressive Nate Brown now has grabbed the inside lane.
Looked like a legal start, and Dave Villwock had it wired. Nate Brown is on the inside, back just a bit in the Lumar. He'll have a smaller first turn, and we'll see if that helps.
I have to say, he does not have the power to beat the Budweiser head-to-head, so it's going to take some really clever driving by Nate Brown to get up there with Dave Villwock. Steve David right now is coming around in second place to the outside. A tough run for him, too. Brown very close inside there. The buoys will be watching the O'Doul's eye in the sky.
Nate Brown's position in lane 1 is keeping him ahead of Steve David for the moment in that race for second place. Now the leader, you're on board with Dave Villwock, operating that front canard just a bit as he flies the Budweiser out to the front of the pack in the final heat of the 1998 Gold Cup.
As Villwock passes the Budweiser crew, confident but intent, both he and they. Now Steve David flying his boat, trying to catch up in this rough water in front of the grandstand. Heading past the start-finish line for the first time. Coming around the outside, left side of your screen, Ken Muscatel in the Autobahn.
This shot kind of belies the fact that those boats are coming at you at just about 200 miles per hour. Steve David in the Chrysler Jeep was back a bit, didn't make a bad start, but the one by Dave Villwock in the Budweiser was spectacular. So far, that's been the story of this final heat.
Villwock paid earlier in this meet by jumping the gun, the only heat he has lost so far this year, but he got it just right this time. And as you said before the start, Steve, once Budweiser gets a good start, everybody else is just praying that something happens to catch up.
You saw just about a 2 rooster tail advantage for the Budweiser as Dave Villwock came by the Detroit Yacht Club. Steve David has settled into second place. Nate Brown still giving chase in the Lumar, and you have the driver's perspective there of a rather rough Detroit River at this point in the afternoon.
Nate Brown holding the inside lane, but now losing contact with the Budweiser, trying to keep up somehow, at least with Steve David in the Chrysler Jeep. But Steve has got a lead, although outside.
141.842 miles per hour. That's a good, fast, competitive lap for the Budweiser. They could go faster, John, if they had to. He knows very well where the competition is right now.
There's a familiar view from on board in the Budweiser cockpit. Nothing in terms of other boats except way ahead lap traffic, Rooster Tails. Is he, in fact, easing up a little?
Well, this boat qualified at 160 miles per hour plus. He could run in the 150s easily in competition, but you have to run all 5 laps, John. If you don't make it to the checkered flag, you might as well have not started the race. So Dave Villwock is definitely being a little bit careful here, but even at this speed, it's a pretty rough ride on the Detroit River.
Dave Villwock loves to drive boats. After his accident in Tri-Cities last year, people talking to Dave's wife, Pam, said, you know, I thought he'd never drive again. And she said, I never thought that.
And this young man, as we have pointed out many times in the broadcast, has had a difficult weekend and will be thrilled with a top 3 finish. Nate Brown in the Lumar window film. Dave slows it down just a bit more, 137 plus miles per hour on that lap.
Budweiser with the big lead. Steve David is in second. Then here the yellow boat, Nate Brown in the Lumar window film, Ken Muscatel, and bringing up the rear is Mike Weber. Coming around the Rooster Tail turn for the final time, Dave Villwock in the big red Miss Budweiser and heading for the finish line and his 3rd consecutive Gold Cup championship as a driver. There's the checkered flag. The Budweiser has done it again. This is Dave's 2nd win in a row in the Bud. He won 2 years ago in the Pico. And there, of course, is the happy Budweiser crew. A good finish for Steve David in the Miss Chrysler Jeep. He's 2nd. Dr. Ken Muscatel coming around. Looks like he will finish 4th in the Autobahn because 3rd place goes to this boat. Nate Brown driving the Lumar window film.